Hi there, Magic Ship here. The game we are going to review in this video is primemonster. As usual, I'm going to be going through the premise of the game, story, art, music and sound, gameplay, and my overall thoughts. I'll also be showing parts of my stream playthrough during the review. Without further ado, let's begin. Primemonster is a card-based political strategy game where you first try to overthrow the current Prime Monster in a warm-up battle. Once you become the new Prime Monster, your goal is to defend your seat and approve bills that have been proposed to you. At first glance, it looks like a classic deck building game where cards have a cost to play and an effect when played. However, Prime Monster does things a little differently, but more on that during the gameplay segment. The story and setting are built around political satire. You are dealing with the parliament, public opinion, scandals, party loyalty, and all the chaos that comes with trying not to get overthrown. The writing and humor are on point, the game has a very political theme, and there are plenty of jokes for players who understand that style of humor. However, even if you do not catch every reference, the structure and presentation of the game world are still enjoyable. I found myself laughing a lot at the wordplay, especially the newspaper headlines after every debate. In terms of art, primemonster has a very strong identity. The monster politicians immediately help the game stand out, and the character designs make the idea of a monstrous parliament easy to understand at a glance. The presentation also helps sell the satire. Imagine a parliament consisting of orcs, ghosts, witches, vampires, and more. Their MPs are part of the same race that the leader of the opposition represents. Seeing all of them locked in a heated debate for a set amount of time, only for the judge to stop everything and counter votes, makes the whole setup feels ridiculous in a good way. Aside from the characters, the UI and card text are clean and easy to understand. This is important because you spend a lot of time reading, choosing actions, and watch the effects play out. Overall, primemonster does a great job of making its presentation feel lively and pleasing to the eye. The music and sound design support the atmosphere. Since this is a strategy-focused game, the audio does not need to be intense all the time. What matters more is whether it keeps the mood moving while you are thinking through your choices. The sound effects during debates, votes, and card actions help make the game feel more active. It gives the feeling that you are not just playing cards, but taking part in a ridiculous and dramatic political battle. I also enjoyed and vibed with the music throughout my playthroughs. Now, onward to the gameplay. Primemonster is a card game where you build your approach through tactics, stuff, card upgrades, items, and political decisions. While it may look like a deck builder at first, primemonster takes that idea into something that feels less like a deck builder and more like a cabinet builder. The reason is that you do not build or modify your deck in normal deck builders. You do not remove cards from your deck or add new cards to it freely. Instead, you can upgrade cards whenever the opportunity arises, and usually from a choice of 3 options. On top of that, you gain new tactics, which you can swap out whenever you find a synergy that fits the combo you are going for. You can also hire staff members who complement your tactics and help form even more insane combinations. This was what surprised me. I went into primemonster expecting to change my deck to my liking, but instead, I found myself building a cabinet of MPs, staff, and tactics from scratch. This helps sell the premise of what primemonster is trying to be. Not to mention, the cards themselves are not always the most important part of the debate. In many cases, they feel more like fuel for your tactics, allowing you to use those tactics at the right time to counter your opponent. During debates, you can choose between playing a card normally or consuming it for extra political capital. As the debate goes on, you need to manage your political capital carefully because the tactics that require it can make or break your run. This can feel odd at first, especially if you are used to other card-based deck builders where your hand is usually the main focus of every turn. In primemonster, a lot of your strategies are derived from the tactics that you have. They shape how you approach debates and give you powerful options depending on how you build around them. This makes the game feel less like you are simply playing the best cards in your hand and more like you are managing a larger political machine. The front-bench MPs also add an interesting twist to each battle. They are not just a thematically appropriate health bar, they can meaningfully affect how you approach a challenge, how you deal with a specific turn, and even how you think about your overall strategy for the run. Since the game is about gaining votes for yourself and reducing votes from your opponent, each move you make either increases your unity or reduces your opponent's unity. Once you gain enough unity to pass the threshold, one of our MPs with the lowest support will change their stance by 1 level. This means that if an MP is against you, they may become neutral. If none of your MPs are against you, a random neutral MP may start voting for you instead. The same also applies to your opponent. Because of this, if your opponent is overwhelming you and turning your MPs neutral or against you, you can change your strategy and focus on making their MPs neutral or even converting them to your side. You can also make sacrificial plays that reduces your own MP's votes by 1 in exchange for potentially converting some of your opponent's MPs. These create interesting moments where you have to decide whether the risk is worth it. Another way to affect the debate is by using cards and items that directly target your opponent's MPs. You can stun them to stop their ongoing effects, knock them out to prevent them from changing their votes, or straight up remove them from the debate. However, these dirty methods often come with consequences. The moment you use such methods, the judge, or the streaker in this case, will roll against a shared 6-sided dice track. This dice track is used by both you and your opponent. If the dice roll does not land on an eye icon, the corresponding number on that shared dice track changes into an eye icon. But if it does land on an eye icon, that means the streaker has caught you, and one of your MPs will be banished from the debate. This causes you to lose 1 vote. Such risky plays, am I right? What makes this interesting is that both you and your opponent are using the same dice track. So if you use dirty methods and turn more numbers into eye icons, you are also increasing the risk of your opponent when they try to use dirty methods later. This creates some very fun, high risk, high rewards moments. When your system starts working together, Prime Monster can be very satisfying. Getting a good synergy going and watching your strategy snowball feels great, especially when your staff, tactics, MPs, and cards start supporting one another. When you are not debating with your opponents, you return to your office. From there, you can access the shop, buy items to help your run, and hire staff members who provide useful benefits. Some staff may help you gain more gold, deal extra damage, or even prevent your MP from being banished the first time the streaker catches you. Useful, aren't they? Aside from managing your political capital, which carries over from debate to debate, and your gold, you also need to manage your poll rating and authority. If your poll rating enters the red zone, bad choices and negative results will happen more often. If it stays in the red when the general election arrives, you'll be voted out and lose your position as the Prime Monster. If your authority reaches 0, your MPs will want you to resign and trigger a vote of confidence. If you fail to convince them to vote for you, your run is over and you're forced to resign. You can also choose which opponents to debate when viewing your schedule. Look at the rewards, pick the ones that interest you, slot them into your schedule and debate away. Like other strategy games of this type, there are normal and elite debates, each with their own rewards. Lastly, before debates, you'll be given a handful of policies or documents for your review. You can select the outcomes that will benefit you, but keep in mind that what helps you now may not help you later. Some of these choices can appear again during debates and force you to make difficult decisions. Need a change of tactics? Swap them out in your office. Need new items or stuff? Get them at the shop. Sounds rough? Well, running a parliament isn't easy after all. Despite all the praise, I do have one main criticism. The synergy building can sometimes feel a bit limiting. There are many ways to influence your run, such as buying different stuff, upgrading different tactics, and improving certain cards. However, sometimes it feels you are prone to choosing the same types of tactics and upgrades each run. This is probably because of the limited tactics slot and the inability to properly remove or modify parts of your setup. Because of that, it can feel difficult to move away from something that already works. In other deck building games, part of the fun is cultivating your deck. You remove cards, refine your strategy, and slowly shape your build into something focused. In Prime Monster, it can sometimes feel like you are mostly adding new things while sticking to the options that already work. For example, once you find a good combo, you may end up sticking with it, while other upgrades sit unused because they do not fit what you are doing. I found myself wishing I had a bit more control over the cards in my deck, such as being able to remove or modify them to support different styles of play. That being said, Prime Monster is still easy enough to get into, as the game presents everything in a fairly straightforward way. The available characters, while limited, also encourages different playstyles, which gives the game some variety. There are also different difficulty levels and additional run limitations through pledges, giving players plenty of challenge if they want to push further. Overall, Prime Monster is a creative and memorable political strategy game that looks like a deck builder at first, but plays more like a cabinet building game about managing a dysfunctional government. It may not give you as much control over your build as I would personally like, but its strong theme, unique systems, and satisfying moments of synergy make it stand out. With that said, I would recommend Prime Monster if you enjoy political satire and card-based strategy games. With that, if you have reached this part of the video, thank you very much for watching until the end. If you like what you're watching, do consider pressing the subscribe button and turning on the bell notification. I also stream on the Purple app, so if you'd like to watch my gameplay, do consider giving me a follow there as well. Links are in the description below. Lastly, do leave a comment if there is a game you would like me to play and cover. Once again, I'm Magic Flying Sheep and thank you for watching this video.